This is Upfront, a weekly public affairs show airing on Cat Country 98.1 and Big 101.3, presented by Hall Communications. Now, here's your host, Ed Pereira.
And a good Sunday morning to you. Welcome to Upfront, your public affairs program heard each and every Sunday morning right here on Big 101.3 and Cat Country 98.1. I'm your host, Ed Pereira. Thanks for joining us on this Sunday morning. Glad to have you along and glad you made us a part of your weekend. It's the best time of year. It's still summertime. We're in the dog days of August, I suppose, if you want to put it that way. It seems like we had the dog days of July already, but now we're into August here, and it's nothing better than going to a Clambake or a clam boil or anything to do with clams. It's always good. You can never go wrong with that is for sure. We're going to talk about such an event right now. Joining us this morning is no stranger to the microphone. Stephanie Pickup is here. We know her from Carefree Homes, and good to see you once again, Stephanie.
Thanks, Ed. I'm so happy to be here today.
It's good to have you back. First things first, before we even get to this project, how did everything go with our terrible roof
contest? The roof giveaway.
Yes.
The New Year, new roof giveaway. So we had a local veteran in a Acushnet, Barry Youngblood, who won. And he was probably the most in need of any homeowner. There were buckets inside catching water.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, it was a pretty serious problem. So it allowed him to stay in his home because conditions were so bad that they were going to make him leave. They were going to have to put him in a living. But now he has a new roof thanks to GAF and Carefree Homes. So he's doing great, and he's home and doing well. So we're happy.
And you didn't even shed one little tear, I'm sure.
If I talk too much about it, then I'll get really emotional. If we talk about the reveal and all that stuff, then I'll start crying. But he's a wonderful man, and we're happy that we could help him.
Oh, that is terrific, and I'm sure he's happy that he has buckets for other uses now.
Yes, exactly.
Instead of having him in his home. Good for him. Well,
yes.
That's great. It's always a great promotion. We're not here to talk about that today, but I just wanted to let everyone know that, yes, that when we talk about it at the beginning of the year, it really does happen and is what goes on. That's a great thing.
Yes, it is.
And you've been doing it for quite a few years now, too.
This was our 8th year, I think, for the giveaway. So, we'll be going on 9 coming up.
Now, you've got something else coming up here, and I just started laughing because every time Stephanie sent me something, gnome surfing and gnome doing that. I'm like, gnomes. I'm going, all I can think of every time I see that picture, I think of, what's this, Travelocity.
Yeah, the little garden gnomes.
Gnome, and I think of that right away.
Yes.
I'm like, no, it's not that. This is something different. Tell us a little bit about what you got involved with now.
Yeah. So, again, thanks so much for having me here today. So, that community is really big for us at Carefree Homes.
Yeah.
Our family is very involved with a lot of nonprofits. Gnome Surf happens to be one of the greatest and my favorite nonprofits. We're based, and I'm actually on the board of directors. I'm one of the members of the board of directors. And we're having a Clambake to support our nonprofit, which is basically surf therapy, which people say, well, what is surf therapy?
Right, and you've showed me the pictures of this before. I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. And I like the whole concept. I never think of surfing as something that can give you such therapy. The two just don't sound like they would go together.
Yeah, it's a relatively new as far as the whole concept of surf therapy, and they are actually starting to collect data and things like that to show that it is very healing for a lot of people. So basically, Gnome Surf provides surf therapy for children of all ages, actually athletes, I should say athletes, because it can be adults, children, athletes of all ages and all abilities. We do specialize in serving kids who are neurodivergent, so kids who might have challenges with autism, Down syndrome, ADHD, anxiety, depression, anything that's challenging them. It's pretty much anything, physical, emotional, mental challenges that are going on, and using the ocean to heal and just break barriers. And if you have to kind of witness the magic of it to really understand it, I guess. But I mean, you can just a quick example. We can have a child who doesn't speak, that is completely nonverbal. You get them on a surfboard in the ocean with one of our gnome instructors, and they'll start talking or saying words and the families are just, you'll find it's not uncommon to find families on the shore that are crying because they are just overwhelmed with happiness because they're watching their children do things that medical doctors and others said that they could never do.
And all because of just feeling comfortable in the surf, in the water, with an instructor.
Right.
And like, hey, this is fun. I want to do this.
Yeah, a lot of it is tandem surfing. So it's, the child is either sitting on the board, kneeling on the board. Some, when they get a little bit more advanced, are able to stand up, some independently. But most of them are tandem surfing with our instructors and just having a blast and, building their confidence and just overcoming these challenges that some people said they never could overcome. So it's exciting.
Well, you and I both know, I think we can relate this. I think there is something, a calming effect, if you will, or we always want to be near the water. I mean, and I think that's just one of those things that we as living here in the greater New Bedford area, of course, we always think of having shoreline, but you can go in the Midwest and people don't have shorelines like we do and things of that nature, and we just kind of take it for granted. But there is something about it where you're like, yeah, if I can just forget about what I'm doing today and go sit on the beach for 20 minutes and you're good.
Yeah.
It's amazing how that happened. And now you've taken it a step further with the surfing.
Yeah, it's really great. And this is the first nonprofit that my children have actually benefited from. So 3 of my kids have surfed with them, 2 of them regularly. One has a very high functioning autism, diagnosed at a very young age, always struggled with the typical sports, so like soccer, baseball, so like, kids, neurodivergent kiddos, you're not going to typically find them playing t-ball or soccer because it's either too overwhelming for them emotionally where, it's just too much for them, so they can't handle it. So this is an option for them to have their own sport, I guess you could say. And it's super cool. I mean, how cool is surfing? And, our kids are able to benefit from that. So I have a daughter and my son who absolutely love surfing with them. They do one-on-one sessions, which is really great.
No kidding.
Yeah, so we have happy camps, which are basically groups of kids that we surf with that are partnered with local organizations. And then we have one-on-one sessions.
Now, how does one find out about Gnome surfing and something like that? Say, gee, I think my kid could benefit from something like this.
Yeah, so I mean, you can visit the website gnomesurf.com.
That's with a G.
Yes, GNOME surf.com. We're very active on Facebook and Instagram. So if there's any camps that are happening or anything that's going on that people can sign up for, you're most likely to see it on Facebook and Instagram. We're very, very active on there. So people are definitely welcome to check that out. The website, you can just contact us. People can sign up, register their kids, register themselves. They can volunteer. You can donate. All sorts of really great stuff.
And honestly, the gnomes are not on the surfboard, by
No.
the way. Just so you know, they stay on the beach, okay?
Yeah.
If they're there that day, they stay on the beach. I just like the concept of this. And so when the kids get out there, it's got to be just a whole different atmosphere for them. Because, I mean, it's just them and the instructor. There's really nothing else going on. And I'm sure they're a little focused on, okay, I'm on a surfboard
Right.
now what do I do?
Right. I mean, some kids, it's a struggle just to get them into the water. So just being able to get them, if they have, sensory issues or anxiety about anything, really, the whole idea of getting on a surfboard. I mean, I know I want to try it. I haven't tried it yet, but I'm really anxious about it. So, I mean,
I can understand that.
Yeah. So it's just, some people have it's just challenging just to get into the water. So to get your child, if you have a child like that, and just to get them on a surfboard, that in itself is a huge accomplishment. So it's really wonderful.
Now, you've got a great fundraising event coming up there, I understand. And,
Yes.
How can you go wrong when you're talking about a clambake?
Yes, and it's an authentic clambake, which is everyone gets boils and clambakes mixed up. They're not the same.
Let's get that straightened out right now. Clam boil is exactly that, a boil. That means that they put it in a big pot. Okay, a clambake is totally different. So we'll let you explain what it is.
Yeah, so I prefer personally a traditional authentic clam bake. So basically with a bake, it's cooked with wood-fired rock and seaweed. So you basically pile a bunch of rocks, light them on fire, the fire dies out, you shovel it. Anyways, then you put the food on, put the seaweed, put the food on top, and then it's covered with a tarp and it's steamed, and it's the most amazing flavor that you'll ever have. So so we're having the Gnome surf.
And not nearly as sloppy as a clam boil can be.
Yes, I mean you're still a little messy when you're peeling when you're eating your clams, but it's really delicious. So that'll be on Saturday, August 13th, from 12 to 4 in Little Compton at the Little Compton Game Club.
Oh, the Little Compton Game Club, very familiar with that.
Are you?
Yeah, I had many a clam bake there, so I know exactly what this is like.
So those professionals, they're the ones that are helping us out. Without them, the amazing volunteers at the Little Compton Game Club, this wouldn't be possible. They're all donating their time and their talent and their whole entire venue. If you've been there, it's basically a huge barn and a covered pavilion
That's
that
exactly
they're just.
what it is. It's a huge barn.
And it's just.
And it has picnic tables, and you're all set, and you're ready to go.
Oh, it's awesome. It's just a really great, and we decorate it, and it's so fun. And it's just a great day to be with family and friends and support a good cause.
And hopefully the weather will cooperate, which we know it will, and it's going to be in a barn
course.
anyway, so don't worry about that. But then they cook it outside, and you get to see the whole process. And believe me, they're there before noontime. If this is noon to 4, they're there long before noontime getting this together. It is not. It's a long process to get a clam bake together. It really is when you think about all the things you have to do. And we just show up and eat. But when you're working them, that's a lot of work that goes into that.
It is, which is why we're so grateful. My good friend, Brad Wardell, and Alan, I don't know if you know Alan.
J,
yes. Brad is a really good friend of ours. Actually, the reason we know him, he for years was our rep for Harvey at Carefree Homes, and now he works for Heritage now. But over the years, he's been our rep for over 20 years, so he's just become part of the family now. So he's a member, and he's just wonderful, one of the greatest human beings that I know. So.
Yeah, one of the good guys.
Yeah, they are just the entire group. They're all just a fantastic group of guys. So we're so appreciative to the Little Compton Game Club.
And how did you find this organization? Is there something you just came across and I want to get involved?
So a friend of mine is an instructor over there. I don't know if she's doing it this year, but she has been for a long time. And so she's been telling me, hey, Steph, you need to check it out. Bring your kids to this Gnome Surf. And so
you're going,
I'm like,
do what?
Well, I just was, you get so busy and you're like, oh, that sounds really cool. That sounds really great. But
I got to take care of business today.
Yeah.
But I'll get to you.
Yeah. But the great thing was, and this is sort of one of those blessings in disguise, the pandemic hit. And everything stopped.
Right.
And then there's Gnome Surf going. Basically, they were one of the only things that were left for the kids to do.
Well, really, when you think about it, I mean, you're outdoors.
Yeah.
So that, it's a one-on-one type of instruction for the most part. So, yeah, I mean, it's not, even during the COVID time, it's like, what best thing that happened at golf was COVID. I hate to say that, but it's true. I mean, golf courses are slammed now because people learned how to play golf again.
Yeah, outdoor sports and spending time with nature, you know, and that's
what concept.
Yeah, it was. So that was sort of one of the blessings of the pandemic was that that became Gnome, and that was it. Once that first, I mean, I'll have to show you pictures. I mean, we had a rainbow on our first surf session. I was like, does this happen every time, Chris? I don't know if this happens every time, but if it does, I'm totally in.
Wait a minute. You don't guarantee a rainbow for anybody that does this the first time out, do
No,
you?
no guarantees for a rainbow, but you will get.
Only you get the rainbow.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool. I mean, most of our surfing is at South Shore Beach in Little Compton, but beautiful sunsets, which is when we usually surf is at night. Usually after 4 o'clock is when we have our surf sessions. Right. So it's just really awesome.
The session lasts for like an hour and a half?
Yeah, about 45 minutes or so. Yeah, and then if you're at a camp, the experience is going to be a little bit longer because we have yoga, art therapy. It's sort of this whole experience. So when you're not surfing, you're painting rocks or you're doing yoga or you know what I mean. So it's while you're waiting on the beach. We have the children engaged, whoever wants to be engaged. I mean, I did yoga a couple weeks ago with them because I was like, I need to stretch. But yeah, it's just a really wonderful experience.
I wasn't doing all the different poses there that you can do with yoga. I do one, I go, I can't move for 6 weeks now. That's great. You're listening to Upfront here on Big 101.3 and Cat Country 98.1. Thanks for joining us on this Sunday morning. I'm Ed Pereira, glad to have you along. Joining us this morning is Stephanie Pickup. You know her always when we talk about Carefree Homes and the good work they do, but today we're talking about the Gnome Surfing, I was going to say project, but I don't know if that's the right term, but Gnome Surfing, which helps out here, and they have a wonderful Clambake coming up. Now, you may ask yourself, Ed, how do I go about getting tickets for this? Well, I'm glad you asked that question because Stephanie's going to tell us how.
Yeah, so tickets are available at Eventbrite. So if you go to eventbrite.com and you go and just search Gnome Surf Clambake, you can also go to our Facebook page, our Instagram pages. All have tons and tons of links to tickets. We also have raffles, so if you're not able to attend the event, we're giving away a 5-day accommodations to Nosara, Costa Rica, which is where one of our happy camps are based. So you can, for $50 donation, you can enter into a raffle for that. Or if you'd rather stay a little closer to home, for $25 donation, you can be entered to win a pair of Patriots tickets. I think they're playing the Bears. Really good seats too. I don't have them on hand, but if you can't come,
trust you.
Yeah. So if you can't attend the event, you can certainly still support the mission and the wonderful work of Gnome Surf. by just, making another donation and having a chance to win a really great prize.
I have to ask you this, Stephanie, though, because when you told me about this, it piqued my curiosity. I said, "Oh, what's this with the pictures? I see you with the gnome," and you told me about it. I said, well, "Okay." What's the reaction you get from people when you say, "You heard about this gnome surfing thing? This is what they do"? They must look at you and go,
"What? Yeah, surf therapy?
Is that
yeah,
the
what
reaction
is
you
surf therapy?" And so,
what do you throw them in a bunch of water? What?
Yes. Yeah, honestly, I mean, I guess for some people, they, I guess you could boil it down to a surf lesson, I guess. But it's a little bit different because typically we're working with kids who are overcoming some really intense challenges in some cases, whether physical, emotional, mental, whatever it is. And so it's just sort of the healing aspect of being on a surfboard and with the waves, and it's more tandem surfing for most of our athletes. So it does take the skill. Like, I couldn't surf by myself, and I don't know how our instructors are able to balance another human on top of the board.
Yeah, that's pretty.
I'm like,
pretty impressive.
Yeah, it is impressive. And not only do they have the physical skills, but our instructors are just wonderful. They're just wonderful human beings that are so great with kids. That have so many different challenges, and we don't really ask, unless there's some sort of a medical problem, obviously, where we have to be very aware of. But we pretty much just say, "Hey, Ed, you want to come and surf? Welcome to." Yeah, like we give them a quick little introduction, and then we bring them in the water. There's no judgment. It's just basically we're out there to promote inclusion, love, kindness, and just teaching these kids that they can accomplish anything they want.
Why do I get the sneaky suspicion that the parents are probably more apprehensive than the kids when it comes to this?
Sometimes. I think so, yeah. I know I was when I watched my kids get out there first.
Wait.
Yeah, a little anxious. But you know what? Honestly, 100% trust Chris and Gio and all the other instructors that we have that are just absolutely amazing and total capable hands. So, yeah, it's really exciting. But you'll see lots of tears on the shore, parents who are just overwhelmed with happiness and joy to see their kids doing really awesome stuff.
Well, I would think when they come back to land, the kids are probably like, "That was great."
It is. I want to say it's like 98% or 99% because we survey the athletes. Yeah. I forgot to check with Chris the stats, but I think it was like 99% of our athletes feel happier after surfing with Gnome, than before they started. So it's pretty awesome. It's really magical. And if you ever have a chance to come and check us out, I'd love to have you come by and check it out. It's really cool.
That's pretty wild that I would think even just the instructors themselves, just like you just said, getting the child to go or wherever age the athlete, just to get him go in the water. Okay.
Right.
Now we're going to get on the board.
Yep.
You must have to have a lot of patience as the instructor to do that.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure there's a lot of they're tense when they first get there, like, "Oh my gosh, I'm going to fall. I don't know," something like that. And yet, it comes off without a hitch.
It does, and it's just, I'm sure you've seen some of the pictures, and I encourage people to check us out and go, find Gnome Surf on Facebook and Instagram. That's where most of our photos are, and you would just be amazed. I mean, we have children who are in wheelchairs, that are wheeled down in special wheelchairs that made just for the beach, and now we're getting them on a surfboard, and they're just loving it. And then their parents are it's overwhelming. It's just really awesome. It's all good vibes, and that's what the Clambake is all about, is just raising money to help support that mission and support these kids. And we basically don't turn anybody away. So it's regardless of your socioeconomic status. If you can't afford to do a one-on-one surf session, we know we have scholarships opportunities available. So if families,
a certain time of year, you can. It gets kind of cold in the winter. I guess you couldn't do it then, but there must be like a certain time period for you to really take advantage of the weather, right?
Yeah, we start surfing, I want to say end of May, and then we surf into like the end of September, beginning of October. So, and of course, as long as the surf is still safe, we have to obviously follow the advice of the lifeguards and the safety folks, just to make sure that it is safe to actually surf. But as long as they say, give us a thumbs up, then our kids are in the water. So it's really great.
Yeah, and I know there's some parents out there going, "But I've heard about sharks and everything else." Don't think about that right at the moment.
My dad's a fisherman. He always says that. "Hey, have you had some sharks?" I said, "Dad, they haven't been eaten yet. They've been surfing for a few years. They're okay."
Don't tell us that part of it. There's also some nice porpoises out there too. Okay, so keep that in mind. But this is something that really a good program, and right in Little Compton, not that far away. Easy to, well, I wouldn't say it's easy to get to, because first you feel like you're going to the end of the earth, but it is easy to get to once you know where you're going. Like, oh, this is great, and that's a great area to go and enjoy.
Oh, it's just
day.
beautiful. Yeah. It is a beautiful area, and we're thankful that we have some really great sponsors too. If you don't mind, if I could just quickly say thank you to them, because putting on events like this can be, it can be expensive, even with all the volunteers and people that donate stuff. So big shout out to our Big Kahuna sponsor, Perfect Smiles Dentistry. So we're so thankful for their support. And then we also have our Hang 10 sponsors, which we're really proud to say Carefree Homes is one of the Hang 10 sponsors. Our friends at the franchise group, Isaacson Solar, and South Coast Business Alliance. I'm not sure if you've heard of them. Oktoberfest is what they're known for in New Bedford. And then Life Inc. So those are our some of our sponsors. So I totally want to thank them.
It costs a little bit to do this kind of stuff.
Right. It definitely does. So we're so thankful to have their support in helping us support the mission.
And I'm sure this year, with the way, even for something like this, you're not sure what you should almost charge for ticket prices for something like this, because the prices you were quoted back in, say, the spring are not the prices they are now. The fluctuation has been unbelievable.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm sure that's something you have to kind of build into when you're doing this now.
Yeah, it is a little bit. You're like, oh, geez. So you don't want to charge too much, because you don't want to scare people away. Right. But at the same time, you want to make sure you can cover the cost of actually hosting it. Yeah, so it's a little challenging.
A little bit of money for the organization, which is the whole idea of the fundraiser.
Right, right, exactly. So it is challenging, but we're thankful that we have, like I said, just eliminating the cost of paying a venue, like having the Little Compton Game Club open their home to us and donate their time and their talent to host this Clambake. We couldn't do it without them. I mean, if we had to pay an organization for that, or a company, I mean, it's a ton of money. So so thank you to the Little Compton Game Club. They are basically a default sponsor.
Even if it's a nice hot day, don't worry, because if you go over there, there's usually a nice little breeze.
Oh, it's always shady, lots of trees.
Yeah, lots of trees. So it's in a great place. You can't go wrong, is what we're trying to say.
Yeah, and we've got games and a photo booth and music and, like I said, some fun raffles, and the food is delicious. The Clambake in itself is really great. So you get your clams, you get your fixings, which is potatoes, sweet potato, sausage, linguiça, hot dog, corn on the cob. Then you get your clams, and then you have a nice cup of Blount New England clam chowder. You get a black tie cookie, of course, for dessert, because
there's a shock.
Right, everyone has to have a black tie cookie,
yeah,
and and then they get a drink. So it's really a great experience. We do have kids meal options, so if somebody wanted to bring their kids, we have mac and cheese and apple slices, things like that. So
there's something for everyone. And the more the merrier with something like this. Again, it's coming up on Saturday, August 13th, which is just around the corner. But you can order tickets up until about what, maybe?
Actually, technically, the deadline will be within the next week.
Yeah. So basically, as you hear this Sunday morning, you get to maybe Sunday night to do this.
Yes, basically. That's probably the deadline. But even if you can't...
We might get you in a Monday morning, but make it quick. Okay?
They could call. Like, if they really wanted to call, we might have some extra meals that are left over. So they're welcome to give me a call, 508-997-1111. Give me a shout if you really want to come, just in case the Eventbrite tickets are offline. But people can still, regardless if tickets are there, you can still make a donation for the raffle for that chance to win a trip to Costa Rica for Nosara, or the tickets to the Patriots. So.
Well, either one sounds pretty good to me.
Yes.
I think I'd go with either or right there. With the wife, she'd say, yes, let's go to Costa Rica. For me, you go, let's go to the Patriots game. It'll be a lot more fun. It's cold. You'll have a great time. You're going to love it. You're listening to Upfront here on Big 101.3 and Cat Country 98.1. I'm your host, Ed Pereira. Thanks for joining us here on this Sunday morning. Stephanie Pickup is joining us this morning. We're talking about the Gnome surfing fundraiser coming up on the 13th of this month, which is just 1 week away, less than a week away, on Saturday over at the Little Compton Game Club. But we suggest, if you want to get a ticket for this Clambake, which will be a wonderful time, make that call today. Make sure you make that call today, or go to the website, which is, you can go to Eventbrite, right?
Yes, go to Eventbrite. Just if you just type in Gnome Surf Clambake, it should pop right up. If you're on Facebook, or if you're on Instagram, Gnome Surf on Facebook and Instagram, where we have tons of links and posts and updates about the Clambake on both social medias sites, so people can check that out. Or if they have any questions, they're always welcome to call me at the office at Carefree Homes, 508-997-1111. If you need a last last-minute ticket if we have any available. Certainly be happy to invite you if you'd like to come if we have anything open. But you're certainly still welcome to make a donation and get involved or register your athlete, which is even better.
It's as simple as that. Pretty simple. And is this something that, I mean, like you do it here? Do they have something like this on the West Coast and down and all up and down the East Coast with these type of programs?
There's not that many. It is growing, and
Really?
I would have to defer to Chris, who is not here today. He's the expert. So Chris Anteo, who's the founder of Gnome, is more knowledgeable as far as like how many other organizations are out there.
I just think it's amazing that something like this comes along. And
if people want to learn about it, if you Google ISTO, International Surf Therapy Organization, they're sort of like the umbrella organization that other surf therapy, like Gnome, we fall under them and provide them with data. So they're basically kind of just trying to compile all this data to present it and say, hey, this is actually an alternative form of healing and medicine for people. So so if you want to check out and learn more about surf therapy in general and other organizations around the country, around the world, definitely check out ISTO, the International Surf Therapy Organization, to learn more.
Before we go, tell us about your own personal story with this. You say that surf therapy, what did you see with your children? Find afterwards, man, made a big difference? Or?
Yeah. I mean, my kids are, they're quote unquote typical, I guess you could say. So we're not like super, like some of the challenges some of our athletes have. My kids don't have that. They have, one of mine struggles with anxiety, pretty debilitating anxiety. Sure. And my other, like I said, very high functioning, a spectrum disorder. But
you talk about anxiety, I would think, okay, I'm going to go on a surfboard. That might have been just getting from the sand into the water might have been something to overcome.
Mm-hmm. But it helps. It really helps for my kids. Yeah. Building confidence is a big thing. Like to say you got up, that's intimidating. I haven't done it yet. This is how intimidating it is. I'm like, every year, I'm going to go do it. I'm going to get on the surfboard. Hey, guys, when's my surf session? And the next thing you know, it's another summer goes by. I still haven't done it. So just the fact that you can get your kids on a board in itself is like a huge accomplishment. So it is really great for self-confidence and just knowing like, hey, I can do stuff that I didn't think I could do, and it's really amazing.
And I would think this just carries over into anything else they're doing in life at that time. Saying, hey, you know what? Maybe mom and dad said I couldn't do that, but I think I can do this.
Right. And then
and maybe it gives the parents a different look at it too and say, maybe we've been not saying, okay, you can expand a little bit here.
No, it's true. And you don't mean to do it. As a parent, you tend to put limitations on your kids, especially when you're concerned for safety, right? I don't want them to, your parental, your instincts are to protect your child.
Of course.
And so you limit them. You basically do. You don't do it intentionally. It's really just that whole mama bear, papa bear thing. Like you want to protect your child, but we really should let them get out there and try things that maybe are a little scary to some of us, but you know what? It's a really safe environment. Safety comes first with our kids and our athletes. So parents need not be concerned about that kind of stuff. But, I encourage people to explore, check out Gnome Surf on Facebook, on Instagram to kind of see the pictures. And when people see the photos of our athletes, they're just blown away. And they're like, wow, like you see just, like I said, we have kids that are, that are going from a wheelchair to a surfboard and you see them surfing like, what? That's just so crazy. And they're all smiles. You see the smiles on their faces and the smile says it all. And it's really awesome, which is why we're so excited. We were excited when Perfect Smiles came on board because that's one of the most popular comments that we get on our pictures is the smile says it all because the kids are just beaming and the parents are beaming. So it's really awesome.
So Dr. Ahern said, hey, we got to get involved with this. That's Perfect Smiles and that's what we do.
Yes. So
this is a natural.
So we're happy to have them on board and of course our other sponsors too. But definitely everybody check it out. It's really awesome.
Right. And again, this is where you get to make the shameless plug too. Of course, one of the community-based folks is Carefree Homes right over in Fairhaven. And if you need any home repair or anything like that, give them a call. Correct?
Yeah, if you need a new roof, siding, windows.
Right. Whatever it is.
Carefree Homes.
Or I'll go see them play golf this week.
Yeah.
At the Country Club of New Bedford during the fall ball. You'll see if you see Stephanie out there, she's over there going, go team.
Yes.
She's rooting on her husband and her father-in-law to get the big win.
Yeah,
right?
it's a father-son tradition. They actually last year was the only year they missed it because Nate had back surgery, but I'm glad that he's back on the golf course. It's so funny. I never thought I'm so happy you're golfing.
But
he's healthy.
You would never hear a wife say, oh, you're going out to golf? Good.
I'm so glad.
so
You're
glad
healthy.
for you.
You can go. So, no, it's a really great tradition.
All right, once again, if you're looking for tickets, go to Eventbrite right now and look under Gnome.
Gnome Surf Clambake.
Gnome Surf
And it should
Clambake.
pop right up. Or look, go to Facebook, Gnome Surf on Facebook, Gnome Surf on Instagram, Gnome Surf with a G, Nome. Check it out. Lots of great stuff and a really awesome mission.
Stephanie, I don't know how to tell you this. We are out of time, but I thank you for taking time out of your schedule. I know you've been running around. You were like, okay, I won't be able to do anything the week before because I'll be away. And then I had a schedule that says, I can't do this next week. So it worked out perfectly. We got in
Thank you.
to talk about gnome surfing.
You're the
Thank
best,
you so
Ed.
much.
Thanks so much.
Thank you. And we thank you for joining us here on Cat Country 98.1 and Big 101.3. That's it for this edition of Upfront. We hope you have yourself a wonderful week. Until next week, I'm Ed Pereira. Have a good week, everybody.
This is Upfront, a weekly public affairs show airing on Cat Country 98.1 and Big 101.3, presented by Hall Communications. Now.